If anybody can handle getting from 0 hours in a T6 to solo in less than 3 days, it's Luke. It was refreshing to see that even at his experience level, he was very humble going through this.
Well, and I did make a couple boo-boos.
You got your shutters there.
Oh yeah, they're open. The oil temperature was getting quite high, and that was due to the oil shutter not being in the correct open position.
They were out or in?
Oh, it was out.
Yeah, okay, then it was closed.
Okay. But I missed this little knob on the panel. I had it in the wrong position. My flow check wasn't dialed in as well as it should have been, so that was definitely a learning moment that I did not repeat. I'm really big on not repeating errors.
So let's join one of the best pilots I know taking on the Canadian Aviation Museum fleet.
This is one of those pinch me moments in my life. This is happening.
A universal truth among the best aviators is that they're keenly aware that they always have something to learn. And that's definitely true for Luke Penner. He's an aerobatic expert, national champion, and a AAA instructor with Harv's Air Inverted. It was cool to observe his learning process and see him get humbled at times. So Luke is getting the Canadian Aviation Museum crew experience. He's doing the Chipmunk checkout now. And we're gonna try to get him into the Harvard solo within a couple days, which I think for Luke is gonna be possible. He's in town from Manitoba to help out with a critical step on the journey of the RV-14.
Very exciting. Been waiting to do this for a long time. Yes.
It's insured as a part of the museum fleet here, so it made sense to run Luke through the entire crew training program for the rest of the fleet. And this was a fun kind of role reversal because the last time we were together, Luke was training Dave and I in the Extra 300.
Basically do that, but just pull a little hard.
Okay, yeah. I was 7 Gs.
Luke's training here starts with Dave and ends with a special guest.
I want to send you out with Ron for the acro in the Harvard. I mean, I could do it, but not as well as Ron.
Ron is the former chief pilot at the museum. On his 85th birthday, he went and did a solo aerobatic flight, and he's still actively flying at 92 years old currently. Luke got a lot out of flying with him.
So we finished the checkout in the 14, as expected. That was no issue for you. So now we're moving into warbird land. So we'll go out, we'll do basic air work on the AFR, we'll do some aerobatics, come back, 3-point landing, wheel landing. This airplane, beautiful 3-point airplane, beautiful wheel landing airplane.
I had flown a Chipmunk about 12 years prior, so a lot of that kind of came back. Plus, with Dave's instruction, things came together pretty quick with the Chipmunk. We spent some time just getting me in the seat, making sure the seat was adjusted properly.
I think for you, it's probably going to be close to this. So I'm going to try sitting in there and seeing if that feels about right.
It's the little things often and that people don't put enough emphasis on.
Does that feel about right?
Yeah, it does, honestly. As long as you're not being distracted on just the basics of flying, yeah, you can just focus on the airplane itself and things just really come together, I think, that way.
So Luke definitely crushed it flying the Chipmunk. I'm not going to go super detailed on that. I covered all of my training in this airplane a few years ago. There's a complete playlist if you want to go see the details. But for review, there's some interesting, challenging nuances, so I'm going to cover a couple of those here.
Mixture is backwards.
Yep.
So all the way back is full rich.
Yep.
And it's interlocked with the throttle. So
right, can't forget it.
Cannot.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Brake handles.
Yes.
Pulling it actuates the brake, and whatever input you have in the rudders will actuate differential braking.
Yes.
When that handle is pulled.
Yes.
So you can think of it as I need to turn more handle. If you're at full right or full left deflection, and then you add a little brake, it'll turn more. The brakes are effective. They're disc. They're Cleveland, so they're not original. They can be strong enough to nose over the airplane. Okay. So you will be like in this odd affair of doing like a three-handed thing. Yeah, exactly. Stick between the legs pinching is quite handy. Crossing over with the right to the throttle and then left hand on the brake for taxi is generally how it's accomplished. 1,000 RPM will kind of get you everywhere you need to go, though.
And getting it started requires a specific finesse. Rocket. So the Chipmunk is a little quirky, but it's much more simple than the more complex Harvard.
What do you got on oil temperature up there?
Oh yeah, it's high.
First circuit, I looked and the oil was hot.
Yeah, it's like it's a red line.
You got your shutters, they're
Oh yeah, they're open.
I'm like, they in the dash
Yeah,
or are they
no,
out of the dash?
They were out or in?
Oh, it was out.
Yeah, okay, then it was closed.
Okay.
The significant increase in complexity is the reason the Chipmunk comes first in the training fleet, although the wacky brake setup definitely requires some interesting technique.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is. You're actually doing something.
For someone with Luke's skill set, the Chipmunk wasn't challenging, but it's a required step in the flying orders before soloing the Harvard, and we're doing this by the book. I'm not going to focus on this flight, but here are a few chippy flying highlights before the Harvard.
Alrighty. Nice smooth full power, and we got good green gauges.
Delta Foxtrot Papa Tower, you guys ready?
Bring that nose down a little more.
Delta Foxtrot Papa is ready. Delta Foxtrot Papa Tower, line up.
I'd take off with a little less nose up, a little more stick forward next time.
Okay.
Not quite the RV-14.
Not quite.
Feels nice, eh?
So good. So nice. Yeah, this is flying, no doubt. A nice sight picture too, I love that nose shape.
Oh, I know. It's like looking out of a real fighter.
Exactly.
A lot of people think getting in these things is unattainable, and that's totally not the message we're trying to send. You know, like we will train you to tail wheel in this airplane.
Okay. I mean, that's what it's for, right? Like,
That's literally what it's for. It's a beautiful tail wheel airplane. Like, it's not twitchy.
like, find me a better one.
Let's do two 60-degree steep turns, 360 degrees each with the reversal.
All right, here we go. We'll go left and right.
Did the first flight, went on to the practice area, did all the maneuvers that Dave needs to see on the annual check, and that went quite smooth. Did a forced approach, some emergencies. Everything felt pretty good on day one.
You are locked in.
Yeah, your airplane just does it for you. Oh, wake turbulence.
Hell yeah. My God, Luke. Very well done.
Thank you.
All right, give me a power off clean.
Power off clean. Loving this airplane.
Oh, it's the best airplane. Like, best flying airplane. Oh.
She stalled.
She stalled. Yes, she did, and recovered to a climbing attitude.
Aerobatics, loop entry speed, anything over 140. Roll entry speeds, 125, 130 is pretty good. It doesn't have a really astronomical roll rate. No negative G. The engine will cut immediately in negative G.
Lots of speed, level, up we go. West, squawk down.
That's lots. How'd that feel?
Identified. Feels great.
When you do it with Ron, he doesn't like snappy.
Okay, good to know.
Everything's smooth.
Good to know. Hey.
No competition. That's lots of nose up. Oh, very nice, sir. Very nice. Into the loop at 150.
No float.
No float. Yeah, keep it positive for sure.
Oh.
A little negative. It'll come back, don't worry.
No,
there she is.
I'm not worried.
What else do you want to do?
We're going to do a hammer.
You want to do a hammer? All right. I want to see you do it clean.
No pressure from Dave. All right, need lots of energy to set the vertical. All right, we have the speed.
Oh, that's actually clean.
A little bit of that, but she'll come back.
We hope. That was nice.
Cool, man.
All right, you can take us back to Windsor.
Roger.
They'd also done emergency procedures, including forced approaches, but let's see Luke's first chippy landing, and then how he handles the more challenging stuff in the Harvard.
Come on, baby, get down there.
Oh, it's okay if you're a little long. Okay, hold it. A little more. Oh, there you go. That's nice.
And I'm ready on the brake.
Yeah, you don't need to use it until the tail's down.
Huh? Is it good? Oh man. Just having a ball. This plane is so nice.
With that complete, it's time to step up to the big girl.
Let's start with, I guess, the cockpit, and we'll go from there. The seat will be all the way up. Pretty much everyone flies it with the seat all the way up.
Yeah.
And again, there's an existing playlist covering my training in this airplane back from 2018, but let's cover a few of the interesting aspects.
Rudder trim here, elevator trim here. They should be set at 11 and 3. So the gear handle is in a detent here. So when you raise it, you pull it towards yourself to get that lock out, right? See how the lock
Yes,
is?
sure.
That's what you're doing.
Yep.
And it's shaped like a wheel.
Yeah.
The flap handle is shaped like a flap. That we're going to actually use, and we don't want to touch the gear one when we mean to do this one. It's got 3 positions: down, lock, and up. Generally, part of the walk around is you lower it to down, put it all the way in down. Now grab the hydraulic handle next to you, pull that up and twist it. Pull it up and now twist it. Now it's locked up, and now just pump away. And watch the flap fingers.
Yeah. All the
All
way down.
In here, you're just looking for, again, grotesque oil leaks. This is not grotesque.
If you're not leaking oil, you don't have oil.
That's correct. You can remove this. This thing is,
That's a serious
yeah,
probe.
I love it.
Hydraulic lock can be an issue with oil collecting in the bottom cylinders, so we pull the prop through 9 blades.
9. There.
See how it picked up right away?
Yeah.
As soon as you see oil pressure coming above 50, just bring the prop into full fine. And when you see the trade-off from manifold pressure for RPM, that's how you know she's getting there.
All right, we are clear. Check that, swim by. Yeah, ground handling so far very pleasant.
Oh yeah, it's great at low speed. It's just heavy on the feet, that's all.
Right.
Why don't you try, when you get on the other side of the white line, unlocking the tail wheel to swivel to the right. That's a fun experience.
Okay.
To do that, you gotta go stick full forward, which is counterintuitive to basic tailwheel fundamentals.
Now I want you to try to relock the tail wheel. Just, yeah, leave the stick all the way back and just get a little inertia, and then, yeah, real good stab of brake. There you go.
Yeah, I felt it. Touching the green now, just about 45 degrees. That good for run
Oh,
up?
if we're in green, then you're like 50 something.
Yeah, we're just about to get there.
Yeah, you're good. You're good for run up.
Okay. I'll be sure not to switch the mags off.
Oh, yeah. If you do switch them off,
Leave them off.
turn them off. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve told me that. Smooth and slow.
I'm gonna skip the minutia of standard procedures, but this is the sort of thing that I share raw with Patron supporters, and in this case, that specific thing is already available.
Feeling my calves activating.
Yeah.
Holy.
You really got to hold that thing. But you could just get the pre-takeoff checklist done now.
Okay. Hoods, I'm locked in here. In fact, I'm getting a little hot. I can just do that. So 3 is for the outer and 11 for the inner. And mixture rich. Carb heat is cold. Prop is full fine. Fuel on the flush. Should I switch it again?
To what?
It was on the right. Leave it
Whatever we ran up on, we're leaving it.
Okay. Gills are open now.
Yeah, you can open the gills for sure now. So all the way forward.
Yep. I guess Steve never made it out.
Maybe he's just not that interested.
The truth is, I was very interested, but light rain was starting, so instead of going out there to get the camera wet capturing B-roll, I decided to go for a flight to get myself warmed up, because when they get back, I was starting aerobatic training in the RV-14 with Luke.
Well, there's Steve ducking out. If I turn left, I'm going to blast him.
I think you can go left, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be a little rough for him, but he'll be okay. That's not much power.
And yeah, Dave was correct, and I knew I was far enough away to not have any threat from the prop blast from the Harvard as they got going.
Tower Victor and Julius holding short on Alpha, ready for the full length.
Feeling good?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
It's a very standard takeoff, so you're just going to advance the power to 32, stick forward, rotate to when the airplane's ready to fly at around 70 knots, and then fly off.
To do a 180 after the backtrack, Luke needed to already use the new skill of unlocking the tail wheel.
Victor, New Juliet Tower, left turn out eastbound, not about 2,500 feet in the zone. Clear takeoff runway 12.
Clear takeoff 12 will just be a few seconds here in position.
That's good, you tell him that.
It takes practice to smoothly spin this big airplane around to get the tail wheel relocked.
All right, we're straight.
Yeah, it's locked.
Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So takeoff is done, it's supercharged, and there's no restriction on the engine. So if you were to just take the thing out of the detent and just slam it to the firewall, it'll blow the engine apart.
Got like 1 trainer tower.
All the way to 32. Now your stick is forward, not too much, but just enough. A little early on the stick. A little more forward, more forward, more forward. Right about a little more forward. Well, you're okay now, you're flying.
I tap the brakes.
Yep, tap the brakes, positive rate.
Positive rate, you're up.
You're up. Very nice job.
Thanks.
I think you excited the tail up a little bit early.
Okay.
And then we're a little bit hesitant to keep going forward after that. So just a slower raise, but then a little bit, like a couple more degrees down before takeoff would have been perfect.
This is cool. Flying a Harvard.
Yeah, you are.
Man,
How's it feel?
unbelievable. Very light, much lighter than you would expect.
Yeah, it's a pretty spectacular airplane, quite honestly.
All right, 24 inches
680 in the right
and 1800.
Yeah, it's going to sound like not a lot of RPM. When you get there, you'll know.
All right. It's practically
Rocky 176.
no sound anymore.
Yeah, and you can see that you overshot your target manifold just a touch.
Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't go underneath enough.
You can just try a little bit of kind of rolling on a point as we're heading out here.
This is an excellent warm-up maneuver for flying a new type or doing a new type of flying regime than what you're used to.
It is a very rudder heavy on the lead for turn.
Yeah, I see that. I think that's a mass back there.
And funny enough, I was out there doing the same thing in the RV-14, hopeful that these ceilings would allow us to do the aerobatic training next.
100-foot gain, but not too bad. I think I had it pretty coordinated.
And when you're ready, you can do a couple of 180-degree turns, just a commercial steep turn to start.
Ready?
Yep, ready. Either my ball was broken in the back or that was really well coordinated.
If there are any weaknesses, something like this is going to exploit those weaknesses. So all the simple things like knowing where to look, staying ahead of the airplane, it's exactly the same here, but if you're not doing those things, the effect's going to be amplified and the airplane would seem scary or intimidating, but I never felt that way at all. I always felt totally in control. It always did exactly what I expected it to do, just because I'm focused on those basics, like what am I looking at?
Luke has so many awesome insights to share. We filmed this training a couple years ago, but man, have I come a long way since.
Better.
You need to get used to this airplane. You need to get used to how quickly it picks up energy, that cadence. That's what we're going to do in this flight.
And it's entirely thanks to Luke that I found myself here last summer. So I'm in the hangar at the U.S. Nationals Aerobatic Contest.
See them push to box frequency, contact Chief Judge.
It was surreal to find myself diving into the box for actual aerobatic competition. Lots of great content coming from this one, and huge thanks to Luke for making it possible. And it was my honor and privilege to be able to return the favor to get him checked out in the Harvard, which is something he'd always wanted to do. Let's get back on board in the Harvard checkout, starting with stalls during a climbing turn.
All right, 20 inches, we'll do it to the left.
Sure.
Ball's approaching.
There you got some wing drop.
Yep.
But you picked it up so quick, it's just you're so well controlled.
Thank you.
On a first flight in any airplane, let alone the Harvard, I have never seen anyone so far ahead of the airplane. I'm trying to give him stalls where the airplane's going to misbehave, right? But he's so far ahead of the airplane that as soon as it starts doing anything, he's so on top of it that it just breaks over straight ahead every time.
So how do you like the airplane?
This is amazing. Oh, what a place to be.
I'm pretty satisfied. Look, I don't think we need to do many more of these if you don't feel the need.
Fine.
Let's do some slow flight though. Let's get the flaps out to 30 degrees. It really talks to you, doesn't it?
Sure does.
But you can see by the amount of pressure you need on the stick and the way the airframe feels, you're not right.
Yeah.
Something is way off.
Definitely.
So when you get into formation with this thing and the steerman and you get slow, these are the warning signs that something is not correct. You can do a little bit of maneuvering.
And before anyone gets the sign off, you gotta demonstrate that you can handle an engine failure and a forced approach. And of course, Luke nailed the first one, but Dave likes to surprise you when you think you're done.
Take us to the Yankee ground, runway
Mills are good.
070 at 8, altimeter 30.
A little more than a mile, we're 1,500 feet.
Contact.
All right, take us home.
Copy that.
Gave him the double engine failure. Gave him the like
Sneaky.
long exaggerated one where he's like nails it right, and then
makes me feel all good about myself. I'm like
soon as he
thinking
hit
about the
1,000
feet. Bam!
Yeah, you got it again?
Yeah, he got it because he was just like, oh well, it's 1,000 feet. I got like, this is just
Yeah.
find us. That's the demonstration, right?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen to you at 1,000 feet.
So we do a lot of our flying around at 1,600 feet, as you're aware.
Yep.
Well, your engine just failed again.
Okay, I'm landing this way.
When we are doing stalls and stuff with the gear up, just hit this when it starts screaming. Just momentary. It'll cut out the gear warning horn.
Doesn't that spring back down?
It should spring back down, but it's a little sticky. All you got to do is cut it out, and it won't. It'll be disabled until you reset the throttle position.
This green field over there.
Okay. Cancel that gear horn. I think it was getting sad. I want to see this one. That's when it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You made it.
Yeah, I've got this.
You made it. Overshoot. Okay. The most likely scenario is you're going to be cruising around in this thing at 1,600 feet.
Right.
And you're going to have 5 seconds to figure it out.
Right, good call.
Keep on cruising. Did you never move the rudder trim this entire flight?
No.
Oh my God. You've been flying it so well with your feet.
Oh, thank you.
You put it at vertical though, for the love of God. Just roll it till it's like at 12 o'clock.
All right, I can do my guns down. So gas, I can switch it.
That'd be a good time.
Gas, undercarriage, we're safe on that. Here's coming down.
We're looking for 80.
80.
You're 12 feet off the ground, right? So I don't know how much time you've spent sitting 12 feet off the ground, but that ground height reference it's weird at first, but once you get it, it's like, I don't think you'll have any problem with the airplane.
Let's say I'm coming in and everything's looking pretty good, and I just kind of skip. A little premature touch, a little hard, but not too bad. It just kind of skips.
If it starts to bounce, it tends to continue to bounce regardless of what you do.
All the way to idle, jerk it back. There you go. Oh, the boys got it.
Unfortunately, that rain did come in and it pretty much cut off training for the rest of that day, but Luke is halfway through his fleet checkout in one day, and that's pretty impressive stuff. Until the next one, keep your flight chops sharp.
Yeah, that took more practice than other things, getting it started.
Yeah, well, first starts are the hardest starts.